Alright, got a Dell 17-inch monitor here that will not turn on. Self-check, then back off. It's like the screen won't stay light up. Self-check, off. Off, on, self-check, off. So I fixed a 15-inch monitor. This is a 17-inch here. And the problem was just a bad solder joint on one of the coils inside here on the power board. So what we got to do is take this apart, and there's usually 4 screws that you got to take out, and this piece here will come off, and then on the bottom there's actually some notches right here and over here that you have to pop off in order to get the case assembly off. So we'll go ahead and do that now. This will just lift up off from here. So it's got 2 tabs right here, so you have to lift up this way and get it off. And then what we have is pretty much no screws. All it is these 2 tabs here on the bottom side to pop loose. I need a flathead screwdriver to pop these loose. There's 1. There's 2. You want to go all the way around the monitor. It's not too difficult. You just gotta push kind of hard and twist, and all around it'll come apart. Now you may nick the side of the plastic a little bit, but that's pretty much all you have to do to get this thing apart. You could probably use a guitar pick or of some sort to get this apart without damaging it, but I figure guitar picks are too soft and they bend, they break, and oh, you have a nightmare with it. So a screwdriver is the trick. So with this one, I'm not quite sure. Okay, there we go. You have to take the back apart first. So lay it down flat and take just the backing off. Got my towel stuck in between the LCD and the plastic. God damn it. There we go. There we go. Now you can pretty much leave the LCD assembly in place of the front plastics, because all you need to get to is just this piece here taken off. So what you'll find is this metal bracket here has some tabs and whatnot. So what you do is you take a screwdriver, you pop it off. And same way with this side, there's tabs on this side, so you have to push it this way. Wait, no you don't. The tabs are going this way, so you'll have to push the opposite way of where the arrow is pointing to. Maybe a little difficult because there's a Phillips head screw right here. You might want to take that out before you start pounding on it. There we go. That piece is off. Now what you got here is a few electrical connections. One here, one there, and pretty much all you do is just pull on the wires, wiggle them, and they'll come right out. And this one right here, wiggle this one out, there, and there, and that's all done. And then what you got is on the sides here is a few Phillips head screws. You have to take them out. And that's it, except for this LCD connection here on the side here. Looks like it will. No, there's two little tabs here on the side that you have to push in, then out, and the LCD connection will come off. And there's another connection over here that pretty much just pulls out, and this whole piece should lift right up off in there after you get this tape off here. This whole piece will come off. The LCD assembly stays at the bottom here. And all you want is pretty much, I'm thinking, this board right here. And let me find the soldering point, which is probably broken. Well, I can't find it right this minute, but I'll show you here in a second when I get these screws out. There we are. Should come out fairly easy. Oh, there's a little tab right here that you have to push in to lift it out. And then it comes loose. And usually it's one of these two coils here that give you the problem. Let me look here real quick and see which one's dead. And nothing looks too terribly bad. But I'll get looking on this motherboard and I'll show you what the problem is here in just a few seconds. Well guys, I didn't really find any cold solder joints in here, but what I did find is a bad capacitor. You can see how the top on that one is bulged, and it is not putting out the required volts. So on this other one I had, it was a 15-inch monitor. It had cold solder joints on these two coils here, but I looked at them and there's no cold solder joints on them. They're all good. And the only thing I found was a bad capacitor. So we're going to replace this 1000 microfarad 16 volt capacitor, and it should start working again. That's what we're going to do now. Replace just this one. It'll be these 2 points here. Just fell right out. Yep. Alright, so I took the capacitor off, and this is what it looks like. Well, if the camera will actually focus. And as you can see, it's a wee bit bulged. It means it's bad. Now, I got a new one here. Well, it's not new, but used off a regular TV board. You see as it is not bulged at all. And you can compare it. See what I mean? So, we're going to replace this one. The old one. Or an old one with an old one. Doesn't really want to fit very good, but we'll make it work. You want to make the negative side here, the one with the whitest part here, onto the white part on this. That's the negative. So I just want to. There we go. That went in. You kind of bend the parts over. So I don't have to have a second person over here actually holding it. Alright, there we go. There we are. Done. Alright, we're done here. So now we can assemble it back together like it was. Something like that. I already checked this big one here, and it's not bulged at all. None of the other ones are bulged. I checked all the solder joints here, and you know, they all look good. So we'll just go ahead and put it back together and see what happens. I think it's going to work. Now you got to get this center pin here matched up with the middle of that, which might be a wee bit difficult. There we are. We're matched up there. Now we got to put our bolts back in, or at least a few of them anyway, so we can test it. Gotta love these ratcheting screwdrivers. Two should be enough, just to test it. Now we're gonna put it back on top here. Okay, now these wires has got to go back through this tiny little hole here. Those are through. Yep, it's going to be quite difficult here. Get all of them through anyway. Now, I gotta look through the videos to make sure I get these connections right. So, I'll talk to you here in a few seconds. Anyway, the pink goes up top, and the black and blue goes on the bottom. Alright? So, we got them two plugged in. Now I need to plug this back into the LCD here, as I get it loose. I want to be very careful with this connector because it can be easily damaged. Alright, that's plugged in. You want to go to the very bottom of the monitor and plug in the electrical connector. There we go. Maybe a little difficult here, but it can be done. There we go, it's plugged in now. Now all I got left to do is put the backing on here and the stand. But before I do that, I want to make sure it works, so I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. Let's see if it works. Now when you lift it up like this, you want to hold the back piece so that it all stays together. Turn it on, self-check, and it's actually staying on now. Wow. So it was just that faulty capacitor. Turn it back off. Turn it back on. Self-check. And it's staying on. I can run through probably the menu. Well, if it was actually connected to a computer, I probably could. But it's actually, going up as a screensaver. So it's staying on, it looks like. Turn it off again. Back on. Self-check. And it's staying on. Wow. Just because of that faulty capacitor. Right here. It is a 16 volt, 1000 microfarad. That has failed. And most of the time, when the capacitors fail, 90% of the time, you'll see a bulge on the top of here. And most likely indicates a failed capacitor. Now, if they're flat, then, they're good. I see the self-check feature. I mean, it's staying on now, so I think we got it fixed. I'll button it up, and there you go. That's how you fix a Dell 17-inch monitor.